Patch is actually a threat, in my opinion, to all of us, because he challenges all of us to give more. And I mean, we have a society that's built on me, 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 you know, how can I be prettier, or happier, more successful? What can I get? The bigger boat, the bigger house. So he's a threat to all of us because he's a radical revolutionary in terms of his way of thinking. He believes it's about giving and not getting. And I believe we've built a society far too much, and I'm, guilty as charged, but it's more about getting than giving. So I can understand why anyone, whether it's a lawyer, a doctor, or a computer analyst, could be threatened by what Patch has to say. Because he says there's more magic in me giving something to you than in you buying or getting something to me. So I think it's very threatening, but I think that's superficial. I think it's also extraordinarily liberating, because I just think it's a better way to live.
I didn't want a goofy doctor movie. There's no message, and I love the goofy part, but the world definitely needs images from the media that are positive and that have some encouragement to follow your dreams and some stimulation to help and to bring hope to our society.
Hollywood types and about getting involved in an industry that was really about exploitation and about going to the lowest common denominator, if you will, were very real.
My book came out, had a fabulous interview on NPR. My mug got on the front page of USA Today, and that week, Ron Howard called me and 5 or 6 producers. I come out, all this lineup, and I'm going, oh God, oh God, oh God, what's happening to me? I take up one offer, and I won't say who it was, but I actually was lining them up. I was going, okay, I need this hospital. The first one I come out for, it was everything that the player was all about, everything oily about the profession. I come out there, they pick me up in a Rolls Royce, put me up in probably the nicest and most expensive hotel. I mean, the seduction was working to the max. They take me over to the office, and there were 4 or 5 people. They all had the gold chains, and there wasn't a real human being in the room. I could just see they were just seeing dollar signs, and I wasn't a human. I was a product, like a candy bar or something. And I said, get me out of here. Get me out of here. This is not me.
He called me and he said, I've got this book out and some people are beginning to express interest in it, people from your industry, and I don't know if I can trust them. And I know you. What do you think we try to do something together?
I said, Mike, please help me. I need help, and I don't want to totally sell out. So he says, okay, I'll read the book and see what's possible. And he read it and says, I want to do the movie.
We want to tell a story that has to do with the medical establishment and use the Patch Adams character as the individual, the protagonist in this story, and to show how the dehumanization has occurred, show how the desensitization has occurred, and show how one nonconformist can sort of turn things over. And he loved that idea.
Certainly what I told Mike was, Mike, it has to build our hospital. How can we have a movie about our life and spend the huge sums that movies make and not have it build our...
This was an interesting idea, and knew that from their perspective it had to be what they called an A movie or no movie at all. They thought he was a quite extraordinary character, but not necessarily one that was going to sit well with an audience. So they knew that they were going to need to have big-time talent attached to it to be able to package this and sell it as a major motion picture.
Well, the first time I actually heard of the name Patch Adams was when I was working on The Nutty Professor with Steve Odekirk. He was writing the movie Patch Adams. He took a break to work on The Nutty Professor with me, but I didn't hear about it again for about 2 years. And then when I finished Liar Liar, Universal sent me the script that had been sitting around for about a year, and a young executive named Kevin Misher sent me the script. And I read it the first day off from Liar Liar, and I laughed and I cried, and I wanted to do it.
He loved the script the way it was, and his only thought, from my understanding, was that if he could get Robin Williams to do it, he would do this in a second. Now, Tom is a big name at Universal, and they were delighted with the idea of Tom's doing it.
It's kind of a transitional phase for him because it is a combination. It's got outrageous comedy, but it has it has elements of drama and sadness, and he wants to see if he can juggle that, and I think he can. I think he's got the chops for it.
It had a step that I wanted to make in my career, which was doing a comedy that had a more reality-based tone and also had a more dramatic story. And I early, when I read the script, I thought it was a great idea for a film, but I only wanted to do it with one person, and that was Robin, because it just screamed Robin Williams to me.
Robin read the script, talked to Tom, signed on immediately. Robin got it. Robin said, I understand this human being, and this is somebody I could play. You know, when we were originally talking, just in dream terms about casting, Robin's is the first name you come up with. Robin's the wrong age. Patch was in his early 20s when he went to medical school, but who cares? If you get Robin Williams, who cares?
I couldn't let Robin Williams have a microphone and be Robin Williams in the movie. He had to be Patch. He had to be struggling at times and forming this philosophy at times. He couldn't have all the answers, and he couldn't be quite as funny as Robin Williams is on stage, as we know, explosively funny.
I'm not afraid in terms of comedy. I mean, the only danger sometimes with he and I is how far we will go. He'll let you go way, way out, you know. I mean, he's had that tradition with other comedies.
It's harder for me to trust the subtleties in this film, you know, to pull him back, to say, okay, Robin, stop being funny. There was one point where I had to walk on stage and I felt like the death of comedy. I had to go on stage and say, you know, I'm the man with the hook, the cane, and pull him off stage. That's hard, because I just want to sit there and laugh like everybody else and enjoy it, but there's work to be done.
The thing for him was why he's doing this movie is to see what he could do with the drama and also the other side of it, the more serious things. He's trying to push the perception of himself that way.
For me, what was important about the movie is that it had ideas of humor as a context to help prevent burnout in serving others. That not joke for joke's sake, but the creating an air and an atmosphere of levity and humor so that working hard to help make the world a better place is fun to do and not a sacrifice for your life, but in fact a jubilant thrill.
Children in the movie, people say, how can you do this? Because they're the real thing. Because they have a power and a dignity and a kind of there's such a grace that they have. I wanted to see that on film.
The crew was all aware of what was going on. The kids themselves were aware of what was going on. The cast was aware of what was going on. And in moments like that, when joy is created, spontaneous joy is created, I believe that healing happens.
There's a power of spirits, which is what Patch is all about. The clowning and connection and music and art and all these other things that normally aren't associated with medicine can have great healing effect. And why not use it?
It was the audience and everybody associated with this to remember is that it's based on a true story. The facts as they are laid out in the story, most of them are based in Patch's reality, but some of them are extrapolations, some of them happen at different times, some of them happened with different people, some of the people are compilations. All of that is a requisite for making a motion picture where you...
Patch's life, but just about everything that happens in the movie happened to Patch, just over a longer period of time. We took the poetic license of shortening the period of time that it took to evolve this character.
The idea that my very large bathtub full of cooked noodles that I got in 20-some years ago as a fantasy fulfillment thing has become 25,000 pounds of noodles for the movie.
Nice day.
It's a very bizarre kind of sensual thing. Patch is very much about that, as much as he's a doctor, he's also very much a kind of a sensualist. He's like, try this. You know, it's the 60s too. It was like, why not? You know, it is a bizarre thing to be, you know, sitting in a big pool of noodles going, this is surreal.
Go into it, but Patch has done it about 30 times for parties, for friends, or for different occasions, and it's really fun. It's an experience. If one person moves in one corner of the room, the other person in the other corner can feel it, because it's obviously, you know, it's connected. It's a connected sort of energy that's created.
Funny, loving, cooperative, and creative. That those were the requirements of my staff. That those 5 qualities, if I knew that you entered an environment, an architecture that had those 5 qualities, that great medicine would happen whether you were cured or not.
There's too many things that we can't explain yet, too many things we can't quantify, put numbers on. And because I think we're dealing with human beings, and we are, you know, we are physical, but we also have spirit. You know, we like to laugh. You know, we enjoy joy, and those things help to heal us. So if you're just trying to quantify it and say, take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning, I don't think you've probably dug deep enough.
That's why from the very beginning we integrated medicine with performing arts and crafts and agriculture and nature, education, recreation, social service as again, context for doing medicine.
It's very cleanly about a man who discovered that laughter is often the best medicine. And that was a very radical concept when he discovered it. Now we know about Norman Cousins, we know about the endorphins and all the scientific evidence. It didn't exist back in the 60s and 70s when Patch was forming this philosophy. So I think it's very cleanly about a man that discovers the medicinal values of laughter.